kill outside, receives a very small tag indeed from Neo, and it's really got to be this up from Stomp. Where is it, and how can it bail out his teammate? Neo is in trouble in this garage. His AWP is nowhere to be seen up in heaven. It does not look outside to help defend Neo, and now it's on its own in a 1-on-3 scenario. Kalinka's torn it away immediately. The cash is still there for the CT side, but HELLRAISERS have broken their loss streak.
Yep. That is going to be finally that break in the chink for HELLRAISERS, but can they convert the next one? Of course, because they have 10k on Neo, 10k on Taz, 7k on Stomp. They definitely have more than enough money still left on the HONORIS side to buy into the next one. So you're still not going to be facing up against any weak weapons for a while now.
Interesting from HELLRAISERS. They're very quick out to Secret this time. And it's actually the CTs who end up breaking the fence off the back of it. They anticipate that this could be some fast play down into the B-bomb site. Taz peeks up to try and find shots, but Kalinka's found a double entry, and it looks like it might all be going wrong for HONORIS at the last possible moment. They bring it all the way back up to 12-12, but now HELLRAISERS are starting to wake up and find opening kills. There's still cash in the bank for a buy to come forward, but oh, that could be a gift here for Prism.
Yeah, but does he expect the second player up top? No, he does not even peek wide to spot out where Problem is, and Problem saves his ally. Jalem will actually have the bomb control down below. If he pushes, Neo will have bomb control. If he checked a little bit further, he would have seen that the bomb was down, but it will be an A execute coming through. Kalinka gets shot down. Great op usage there from Stomp. Of course, he is still alive, and Stomp is absolutely terrifying on this op. 23 frags at the moment. Is going to toss down the molly to try and get the bomb planter off of it. Of course, it's not going to do too much because the bomb was already ticking down. Now, Neo will get himself a kill. Sprays JR through for a second, and luckily Problem clutches it out in the end, but that was super dicey. Neo almost went big in that round, and it is going to be 14-12 now in favor of HELLRAISERS. HONORIS, they got so close, and at the end they're fumbling. As you said, it's not looking too great for them right now.
They still have a buy, but this is probably their last one in a while. I mean, Taz just has so much cash. Neo has a little bit available, so maybe there would be a buy coming out into the next round, but that's HELLRAISERS on map point. You can't afford to lose this one. You need to get it back. You need to take this to 14-13 if you want an opportunity to score on your pick. Taz this time the man outside. And HELLRAISERS, they've not quite been able to get early secret control this time. 5 apiece still alive. No early aggression anywhere, but HELLRAISERS looking like they want to deploy that outside utility.
Yeah, it has paid off a couple of times. Jalem especially on that outside hold. Stomp pushing forward. Will walk into the crosshair of Jalem. And it is going to be Jalem shutting down Stomp. That's the top fragger on HONORIS side. Dead. The Opera gone. That is massive for HELLRAISERS. Again, they're just holding for that aggression, and HONORIS are giving it to them. Does seem, as you said, they're going to throw out the utility outside, but it doesn't mean that they're heading that direction. It seems inside push is very likely. Taz is on top of the, I don't even know what, a credit card box. Not really sure what it's exactly called. Might spot out Jalem right there. Raiko gets himself the opening kill. Taz does shut them down, and all of a sudden they're crumbling on the side of HELLRAISERS. Is this going to be the turnaround again for HONORIS? It does seem so. They don't really have any money on the HELLRAISERS side either, so HONORIS, this might be a tied scoreline again. If they force up in this one on HELLRAISERS, that's the big question. They will actually be facing up against map point.
Perfect time for a timeout for this HELLRAISERS squad to slow things down and have a talk about what's going on, but They're neglecting to use it at the moment. Instead, going for the pistols and armor and looking to convert map point in the next. That means we should be heading to 14-14 unless these armored pistols use pace to really catch HONORIS off guard. They are charging into the ramp room, but nobody has spotted out the opening player just yet. He's allowed to fall back into the site, and Stomp awaits further aggression with his sniper rifle. They do charge into him. He can convert a bare minimum of one shot. Flaric up close range, can't do very much. Problem eventually does punish the whiffed shot and recovers the AWP, but that is double man advantage to HONORIS now, and it has to be huge individual work, at least 2 kills from this Tech 9 of JR even, for this to be a possibility for Problem.
Yeah, because they know exactly where Problem is right now. Does have the bomb on his back. Close range. Nice peek out from JR. Does not manage to fall back in time, though. And Problem with the op in hand. What can he actually must? He's actually swapped over towards the Tech 9, which gives him a better chance, actually, than the op. Because, of course, that reload of the op is rather problematic. And you would definitely see the barrel stick out in certain angles. Ooh, that is dangerous. Molly coming out. Prism is in trouble. The shot from Problem is going to whiff a second time, and Prism shuts him down, unfortunately, for HELLRAISERS. That means we're going to look at 14-14. Stomp with a great defense, trying to hold everything down. He gets himself 3, but unfortunately, the backup is just not there in time to save his life. Did a good job, and it's now going to be a full buy round on both sides, but no op for JR, and that is a little bit of a problem for HELLRAISERS.
It might just be. We'll have to see what they get done with the 5 AKs. Looks like they're going for early secret control again. It worked out before, but only because Kalinka found a very fast double entry into those secret tunnels. This AWP is still stuck around outside at the moment and waiting for people to peek into it. Stobbs missed the opening shot, but damage still favors the CT side at the moment. The utility deployment is preventing deeper tunnels control to go the way of HELLRAISERS, and they've actually switched it up. They're going to try and break into the A site now, I think, with that full A default utility, or try and wrap around into the B ramp room. It looks as though they are slowly edging their way into Trophy right now to try for the double wrap into the B bomb site, which is going to put Neo under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but Neo's had plenty of pressure in the past. Will he be able to hold the line, though? All he needs is 1 kill, maybe even a nade, and fall back. But this is going to be a quick push coming up forward. He hears the steps and immediately falls down below, but does need to be careful that he doesn't get overwhelmed here. Problem's going to peek it, gets the headshot, and JR gets the second. Taz behind sight gets executed, and the round is just absolutely annihilated right there. Just terrible whole decision making all around coming through in the end.
They wait for HELLRAISERS to push the ramp and then don't really deploy any utility to slow them down. They wait for the dry peaks to come through and lose out on those engagements to the AKs. It's a 15th round for HELLRAISERS, and Stomp is going to try and sit in CT spawn to save his AWP. If HELLRAISERS want to take their map pick, they'll have to do it in the next round. Otherwise, we're going to overtime.
It would not surprise me that we're going to hit overtime on the first map here. HONORIS, they just, I mean, look at that. Stomp on 27 kills. The man is trying his utmost to try and win this map for his team. It would be pretty sad to see him fall flat, of course. But HELLRAISERS, same thing. They just need this map win. With the percentage difference, just the emotional boost that they gain from taking this one. I mean, just not necessarily taking this one, but not losing this one is pretty much the problem here. HONORIS will be going for the double op. Neo picking up the second. It is the last round. We're going the full distance here, and Taz is trying to hold outside. Smokes are kind of leaving a big gap. He spots out the shadow, and luckily Stomp still held that cross, and it is going to be a man advantage for the side of HONORIS. They're going to go for an A execute. Raiko still up in the sky, and the molly is actually burning themselves, and Raiko gets a triple kill all on Flaric. He gets shut down, and we're going to OT.
HONORIS have done enough to extend it into additional time, ladies and gentlemen. What that means is that both squads now are hunting down the ever elusive 19th round, and it probably heavily favors HONORIS to be in overtime now as well, because they're going to be starting on the CT side. If they could convert the 3-0 at the end of this half, they'd need to win just 1 in 3 rounds with perfect money to then try and claim victory on the T side of things. HELLRAISERS, they're also going to be hunting down that 19-round scoreline, and they'd hate to be heading on to their opponent's pick, having lost theirs at the start of the series. Of course, we knew this series was going to be close, and it's already delivering in the first map.
Yeah, it's gonna be a doozy. Of course, 16k, so we're gonna have all the ops utility weapons that we desire, so it's just gonna be a straight up rifle battle. And if you look at the kill screen right here, they do have a couple of heavy hitters on the HONORIS side. Problem is doing a decent job on HELLRAISERS, but he's the only one that has a positive KT for the HELLRAISERS squad. That is rather troublesome, especially because HONORIS, they got 3 with a massively good KD to boot.
I mean, everybody on that HELLRAISERS side at one point, I think it was just at the end of that first half, had double digits. And I mean, some of those players have slowed down incredibly since transferring over to the T side of the map. And that could be a big problem for them heading into overtime as well. It really has been Kalinka and Problem, it feels like, on the T side, starting to win those more recent rounds for the HELLRAISERS squad, and it's likely going to need to be on them again in overtime to try and perform well. Statistically speaking, HELLRAISERS still have the edge in this second map, regardless of what happens here on Nuke. So they might have a little bit of a safety net there in their mind heading over to Dust 2, but it's really not comfortable territory for either squad. Both teams winning just 1 in their last 3 matches over on that map. So HELLRAISERS really going to want to take control of this one as they head towards the first round of overtime. 19, that magical scoreline at the end of this half.
Yep, that is what we're looking for. And otherwise, if it's going to hit that 18-18, we're looking at double OT. Let's see what the plan is going to be from HELLRAISERS for their T opening round. It's going to be, again, that double op setup coming out from HONORIS. Of course, you don't get punished as much as you would if it was 10k. Normally, with you, when you see 10k OT, you don't really see the double op setup. You can still get punished for it, though. JR does not spot out Taz towards Secret. Jalem jumping out wide, and Flare's jumping on top of Reiko. Stomp chiming in as well, and immediately HONORIS get themselves a bunch of kills, and HELLRAISERS are in trouble. JR, can he get anything done here with Problem? I have my doubts. This is looking like a clear-cut round for HONORIS, which has been pretty much their entire showing on the CT side in general. Like, when they have the rifles, they are looking pretty dominant.
Well, Problem, he's trying to win this round for HELLRAISERS. He's not ready to quit just yet. Problem for him, perhaps, is that he doesn't have bomb control. However, his opponent's overplayed his hand severely there, Prism. Firing far too early. Where is the trigger discipline? Nowhere to be found, and that's left Problem in a winnable one-on-one clutch. He's got a flash, he's got the bomb, and nobody knows his positioning. Stomp has absolutely no idea. Free reign over the map, but no time to work with. That's the problem for Problem. He should be able to still charge into this B bomb site, though, and get the free plant. Nothing Stomp can do to deny that one, provided he gets on site in time. He has been able to put that bomb down, and Stomp now has a very big task on his hands.
Yeah, with the post plant coming out from Problem as well. Sticking with that big green stick for this retake on the B site. Problem is all the way toward in the back, but there's still a lot of utility here. A deep HE grenade could be enough from Stomp to flush out Problem. Does he spot him out all the way in the back? There's going to be this pros don't fake coming through, but it's going to be Problem getting the ace clutch And with that, HELLRAISERS secure themselves the first round of OT. What a hero play from Problem. Did not see this one coming, but steps up massively for his team in OT.
That is amazing from Problem. 1 on 5, Honoris. How have they let that one go awry? That is wowie indeed. Just peeking the man one at a time and letting him find all the shots that he is looking for. Several individual mistakes made in that round for Honoris, and now their chances of winning on Nuke have gone down drastically. That losing a round like that is so horrible for your team's mentality, and it is so beneficial for your opponents. HELLRAISERS are going to be fired up off the back of that absolute steal of a round. At the start of overtime, Jalem's trying to dodge the Molotovs. They actually have to sink 2 to root him out of his position. And while time has been eaten up, Honoris, you can tell they're a little bit shaken up after that last round. Nobody's peeking outside this time.
No, Problem is the big problem. He was the only one with a positive KD on HELLRAISER's side, and he definitely did them dirty right there. It is going to be smokes coming out towards the outside. Jalem playing close angles already to keep an eye on it, and Problem is the one that you need to keep an eye out right there. They're going to throw smokes outside, but it is going to be that inner execute coming in most likely. Neo is actually going all the way down below with his big green stick. Money-wise, they don't have the best advantage here on Honoris, but Taz needs to shut down Jalem there. Peek out wide, gets one. Kalinka gets refrag. Raiko on this exact same position, has been standing here pretty much the entire game and has had multiple frags. This time it's going to be Prism getting the kill and JR getting flanked by Neo from fence. It is going to be Honoris 16-16. But yeah, in general, looked a little bit better there from HELLRAISERS. Unfortunately, we're not solid enough to flush out Raiko. They really need to throw that molly outside towards that angle. Raiko is there every possible round.
And he's fragging out from the position as well. Can't really fault the aim from the CT player, but perhaps it is time for this HELLRAISERS squad to show some slightly better prediction of their enemy's positioning. Again, in this round, they look to go outside early on, and this really is not a position that Honoris have been too keen to actively defend ever since that clutch from Problem. They've backed out slightly more passively instead, hoping that they can draw HELLRAISERS in deep and then look to frag from those defensive positions towards Heaven and Mini with that little crossfire. HELLRAISERS happy to take things slow in this round, though. Deploy utility slightly later in the round and then take secret control.
Problem is gonna try and get himself a peek, see if he can spot anyone out to shut them down. What is going to be the game plan? It is Problem the only one lurking about while the rest of his team is heading out towards the outside area. Will they be able to cross safely? Stomp. Oh, big jump from Taz. Gets a double spray down through the smoke. Shuts down JR and Kalinka. Luckily, Flash does chime in. Jalem in garage might be able to get the flank on Stomp unless Stomp peeks it in time. This is all based on timing. Does not get him, and he is absolutely terrified while crawling himself back towards Hell. It is going to be Prism on the site, and Stomp peeking out wide, gets the kill onto Jalem. Neo on site chimes in with his op and is looking very much like Honoris, grabbing themselves the second of their second of overtime. It's 17-16. Of course, first to hit 19 wins the first map, so it is going to be a one map advantage now for Honoris. And HELLRAISERS, they'll be swapping to the CT side, which did look a lot better than their T side, of course. So let's see if they'll be able to perform with that JR defensive op.
2 rounds needed for Honoris and 3 for HELLRAISERS to close things out in first overtime. Otherwise, should we end up on that 18-18 scoreline, we will be heading into double OT and our play on Nuke will be extended. Double ops out that Hellraiser CT side, and Stomp holding the single sniper for the T's at the moment. It's been a long while since Hellraisers were on the defensive side of things. Let's see how well they cope.
Yeah, they are picking up the double op this time, JR and Kalinka, and HONORIS only running the solo op from Stomp, of course, trying to hope that JR walks into his crosshairs, misses the shot, and immediately falls back because he doesn't want to re-peek that scary angle. Neo still out on top of Silo. Kalinka actually getting heavily tagged. Down to 24 HP, is going to try and crawl his way towards Secret. But they're actually heading outside now on HONORIS. Slowly, but they're very slow on their execute. They're literally holding all the angles because they're terrified of a Hellraiser's aggression. Neo is even holding down Secret. Flash coming through, and that should be the peak coming out from Kalinka. Spots Neo, but Neo spots him first, and that's going to be the opening frag in favor of HONORIS on their T side. Let's see what the defense of Hellraisers will achieve. Jalem gets a kill onto Neo, who was probably jumping on top of his head. JR barely misses a shot there, and Jalem doubles up for a second one on Prism. Nice catch indeed. He's playing second vents all of a sudden, and we have one player flanking outside, two going down Secret. Raiko might actually just go ramp through Hell, and that could be big indeed. They only have 15 seconds left on HONORIS. The time is ticking down completely, and problem is going to be the big problem again. Will get shut down by Stomp. Bomb plant, I assume it came down in time.
No.
Oh my god, it did not. They forgot to plant the bomb, and it is going to be Hellraisers taking that one away. Playing with the time too long. 1 second away from getting the plant in and getting a very good post-plant situation, but too slow.
And two critical mistakes now from HONORIS in overtime. This is 2 rounds thrown away by the Polish squad. We could be on dust 2 already, but they whiff the 1v5 against Problem, and in that one they don't leave themselves enough time to plant the bomb. HONORIS, this map could be over in your favor, but these individual mistakes are keeping you in contention. Hellraisers tie up the scoreline and look now for the 1 round advantage to put themselves up on 18. They have the advantage in terms of closing things out in regulation OT, first OT, as the nades go out to try and follow up that damage. Jalem has converted his kill, might double up even. As the Molotovs go out, he's overstaying his welcome now though, as they do peek into him and remove him from the round.
Yeah, finally they do shut him down. Jalem has actually done a lot of work so far in OT for the Hellraisers on their CT side of OT. Of course, T side definitely was all Problem, but the damage has been dealt there. They have been pretty heavily tagged on the HONORIS side. Stomp a little bit low. Taz 1 bullet away from death, so Hellraisers, they do have a solid advantage here. Problem is that their utility is pretty much gone on the Hellraisers defensive end. Kalinka, does Prism expect it? No, he does not, and that's going to be doubling up for Hellraisers. Dom's going to get shut down. It's all on Neo. 1v4 will not get anything more done, and Hellraisers on map point. And HONORIS, after making those 2 crucial mistakes in OT, they should be kicking themselves right now, looking down the barrel of map number 1, which definitely should have been theirs.
I mean, it's brutal to say, but they literally have let the map slip through their fingers. Both rounds were confirmed to go their way virtually. Unable to close them out, however, and now Hellraisers have the opportunity to take us to dust 2 in single OT. They're trying to go quickly into the A-bomb site, wrap around outside and in through lobby, and Prison's found the opener. Kalinka drops in front of that smoke, and Taz has taken him down through it. Doesn't look like HONORIS are done with this map yet, ladies and gents. Jalem isn't done either. Or JR. What a huge passage of play to find as Jalem takes down Prism. Alone he finds the shot. Taz falls down, and Hellraisers, in the first overtime, they win a 1-on-5. They win round that they should not have had any look into, but they've managed to close it out 19-17. We're heading to Dust 2 after this quick break, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It was a very close affair on that first map of Nuke, but the Hellraisers just about managed to steal their pick away 19-17 in the opening round of overtime and take us on to Dust 2 with a map in their back pocket. Now, HONORIS trying to avoid elimination on their own map pick, but a map that is certainly comfortable territory for their opponents in the form of Dust 2. My name is Protalis, and talking you through this second map with me is DK Truman. What are your thoughts ahead of this one?
I'm kind of worrisome for HELLRAISERS. Yes, they did manage to take that first map away, but the performance that we saw was not that great, and it pretty much was two standout performances in overtime that secured them the win. That definitely should not have happened. Of course, they were massive plays to clutch it out, of course, but from Problem and Jalem in the end there, but it definitely looked like HONORIS looked like a lot stronger side in that map, and that's why Dust 2 makes me a little bit anxious right now, because it is, as the previous map, a pretty heavy op map, and JR didn't get much done, but Stomp, on the other hand, absolutely tore HELLRAISERS apart, and that is what they need to be very wary of on this HELLRAISER squad in the next map.
Yeah, certainly. I think the fragging could be quite a big issue for the HELLRAISERS boys heading into this second map. We did see players like Problem and Kalinka really wake up towards the end of that first one, though. And I mean, Problem did pull off a 1-on-5 clutch, however many mistakes HONORIS made. You don't exactly trip over yourself and win those kinds of rounds. You do have to be pretty perfect with the majority of your shots in that one. So I'm certain that he's going to need to be turning up and having a big day. But you're right, from the HONORIS point of view, Stomp had an absolutely massive one on Nuke. 33 kills to 21 deaths. Definitely an impactful player, and a player who's going to be needed by this HONORIS squad on Dust 2. Not the best record on the map recently, despite them picking it, but they just picked up a 16-6 win up against the Ling B Vikings. So maybe there is at least something beneficial to show us here on this map.
Yeah, it's not like HELLRAISERS have the greatest performance of it on it either. I mean, they lost to Cyber Legacy 16-5 a little bit ago as well. But it's not HELLRAISERS' worst map. I mean, they still have a 57% win rate on it. It's their third best map, pretty much, with Inferno being slightly better than them. But as I've just been told, the knife round's about to start, and on a map like Dust 2, who do you prefer? What side do you prefer them to play on?
Well, the T side is the stronger one, but HELLRAISERS been having a bit of a nightmare on their T sides recently. So perhaps they might want to start things off on the defensive side of this. The knife round on the second map of our final best of 3 series of the day. HONORIS versus HELLRAISERS. Both going to be wanting that T side start, I think, although actually both teams here, ever so narrowly, their win rates just about are better on the CT side of things. So HONORIS winning that knife, I imagine they'll choose to stick on the T side here, but actually they go for that switch.
Yeah, I kind of like it because, of course, as you said, HELLRAISERS, well, they've just not had any good performances on their T side so far today, so it definitely gives them a possibility here for the side of HONORIS, and our partners at LootBet have to agree.
They definitely have HELLRAISERS pinned as the favorites on this map, despite it being the pick of HONORIS then, and it really is going to be a difficult battle for this Polish squad to try and claim victory in the pistol. HELLRAISERS are playing it fairly default, about to go mid to A short though, and Ryko is waiting for those heads to pop up in the lower tunnel, as they've actually found tags onto him in return, though. He has to skulk away with his head down and protected. Instead, it's Prism who tries to open up with a kill, but Problem's taken him down. Ryko can come back for the refrag on just 9 HP, and that leaves it in a 4v4 scenario.
Yep, and there's also aggression coming out towards upper B tunnels. That's going to give away all the info they need for HONORIS, because we have Taz pushing B site, long range tap fight. It is going to be Stomp winning that one towards short. Stomp getting himself another one, and sorry, he's still stuck with the one. It looked like he got the kill, of course, because of how the his crosser was right on top of his opponent, but it is going to be the last man standing. In Problem, of course, has done the ace before previous map, and he's looking on it for now, but luckily Taz with the flank coming in will shut him down. That looked a little bit too dicey there. You don't want to give Stomp Problem too many ace opportunities in a map.
Certainly not. You don't want him to be firing up and, you know, charged up at the start of this map, ready to come forward and start fragging. He's got 3 kills in the pistols, so he might just be bringing advanced weaponry forward to the second round. Instead, he uses that bonus cash to drop Jalem the AK, and they look to go quickly into the B tunnels. Molotov denies any kind of a B rush, and HELLRAISERS decide they might not want to hit the aggressive B site take. They push players into the lower tunnels and play this one slightly more of a standard setup, waiting for some CT aggression that is yet to come through.
Yeah, of course, the force up coming in. Prism is going to be defended by Neo on that B site. This is going to be the peek in. Close range. Problem gets taken out. Jalem with the AK shut down as well. Prism gets a double. And, I mean, that's also AK. Oh, I think they retrieved the AK, though, but definitely want to upgrade for those AK soon enough. Bomb is down. Large will get a kill onto Raiko, but in mid, JR will not win that fight against Taz. Now it's all on Flairich and Kalinka to try and clutch this one out. Bomb is in control of the CTs, and it's going to be really tough to recover this one at the position that it's standing.
Kalinka is trying his hardest to secure some frags, but he's only able to get one. Flairich upgrades his Deagle to a FAMAS, but with 40 seconds, he'd rather have the one-shot headshot potential. Pushing into these B tunnels, no bomb control available. It should be the 3-0 early conversion from this HONORIS side. Pick up the early CT lead of Dust 2. Flairich now with an AK in hand, looks like he's trying to go for this one. There's really not enough time to try for it, however, and he does find Neo at close range. At absolutely bare minimum, he's trying to deal economic damage at this point and will just about be able to slope away with the bomb on his back. So, bonus kill found, some economic damage dealt, but HELLRAISERS, I don't think they should buy into this next round, even if they have an AK saved in the hands of Flairich.
Yeah, it's kind of problematic, but on the other hand, he will have to deco into the next one as well. He won't have full buy. Might go for a scout buy or something along those lines into the next round, but they're going to go for that eco and hope that Flairich can make something happen with the AK, or they can just, you know, play hot potato with the AK. Flairich dies, he gives it to someone else, picks it up, and just keeps swapping it around to use one AK as if it's 5. There's going to be Raiko spotting out Kalinka. Nade comes through, but it's going to be a heavy A-long push. Taz playing with the AUG. It's going to be an easy shutdown from him. Long range, AUG. Good shots, of course. The VP squad are pretty much known, the ex-VP players are pretty much known for always using those weird weapons like the SG553 and the AUG whenever, you know, no one ever else used them. Same, I mean, one of the biggest names in that would be Neo, who always used it pretty much as his op.
Well, now the first full gun round's coming through. We'll have to see whether or not Taz can use it to the same level of effectiveness when he's up against AKs rather than pistols. HELLRAISERS are going to need to put out a strong performance on this T side. Perhaps not the 9-6 half that they, or 10-5 half that they secured there over on Nuke, but they're definitely going to want the round advantage at a bare minimum. Some teams even argue that 6 rounds is enough to work with on the CT side of Dust 2, and HELLRAISERS starting 3-0 down. Not exactly the start they would have been looking for in this second map. They're just getting chewed up by utility at the moment as well. over on that A short angle, struggling to get any real map control at the moment. I think they may have just wrestled short under their control, but Problem is down on 14 HP off the back of this one. The bomb's been picked up, but HELLRAISERS are going to have a difficult time getting into this A bomb site.
Paz is on 7 frags right now. Stomp has an op, but so does JR. JR, of course, glass cannon right now. It does seem to be an A execute. Utility is rather light on both sides currently, but Stomp is holding the angle. Flash comes out. He gets flashed off. Should not go for the repeak. Of course, there's going to be his own flash and now gets the peek back in. But Raiko will get taken down by Flarich, and the push comes out towards the A side. Taz is trying to hold the line. Luckily, Stomp chimes in with a kill as well, but now Stomp needs to defend against 3 players. Jump down from Kalinka is going to put him at an exposed position, and Neo does not expect JR in mid, and JR gets the kill, has the bomb on his back and can rush towards that A site, B site, but he's going to actually peek in mid to try and win that engagement, but that's just feeding away his life. No bomb plant coming in either, and HONORIS take 4. Protalis, what can HELLRAISERS do? The T side again is looking like it's in shatters.
That was a really weird round coming out from HELLRAISERS. They win out the A long engagements, they find the shot on short, and then instead of wrapping into the site using their long players and their short player who is already up above, they drop Kalinka down, have him be isolated so that none of the long players can help him out in engagements, and then have the guys at long basically fight on their own. Just such a weird choice to make from that round for the HELLRAISERS squad, and it ultimately leads to the loss for them. Jalem's found the opening kill in this one with his Deagle headshot, and Flarich has followed it up. Raiko now flashed off the close angle. Has to turn around or might find himself chewed away by these Deags. They found some very nice openers towards A long, and apparently the answer to your question, DK Truman, is buy Deags and frag out long.
Yeah, they even run boosted him across. Flarich gets another Deag headshot coming out, and finally the first kill for HONORIS gets picked up. JR has an op in hand. Prism mid does not expect Kalinka probably close, and it is going to be Kalinka shutting him down. So easy rifle upgrades for HELLRAISERS, and yeah, maybe just don't buy those heavy weapons anymore on HELLRAISERS side. This seems to be paying off a lot more.
Well, they'll just be able to use the weapons they've saved from the last round. Their opponents can't really afford to invest up into this one. It's just going to be the pistols from the HONORIS side of things. But interestingly enough, being only on single loss bonus and Neo only having $1,500 in the bank, they are just going to take the 1 eco. That's because of players like Prism up on 3,700. This long stack is a nice idea from HONORIS, but not going to yield any results at the start of round number 6.
And I'll see if they can make something happen with their P250s. With that one P250, actually. It's going to be a rush forward. Flarich holds down a left mouse button, and it's an easy cleanup. Stomp in mid will fall as well, and now it's all on Neo to just pretty much die so that the next round can start. I mean, I assume Neo's just going to pick up a scout or something into the next. Because he kind of has double eco otherwise. So it's looking like he's... Oh, actually, it's Neo. He might just go for the Max 7 and just hold close towards B doors. And with that, it's going to be HELLRAISERS. They're second. Of course, they are on the T side, which is the preferred side normally. But these teams are very CT-oriented lineups who struggle on their T sides in general.
I mean, that really has been true of HELLRAISERS all day so far. A bit of a nightmare in the offensive side of this game. And it's Flarich who's really leading the way for the HELLRAISERS at the moment, up on 11 kills. They go into the B tunnels early, but that Molotov, it deters them from pushing into B. They have no way of knowing that HONORIS have not committed any players to defending it just yet, but they seem to have an inclination That late smoke comes through, but it's one smoke and one Molotov are all the utility that's deployed. They definitely think that B site is lightly defended. However, they aren't willing to gamble on that one completely. They go for a more standardized execution, and Stomp tagged down to 45. That gives them hope to look out towards the mid side of the map. If they can get Prism at close range, they'll certainly look for a mid to B. Instead, Jalem jumps up too early before the smoke. JR can get that kill back at bare minimum, and a mid to B execution could still come through here, but HELLRAISERS, they are more determined to go long. Despite this B bomb site being empty for virtually the entire half, they're not willing to chance it on that side of the map.
Yeah, Taz will have to hold this down. Stomp, luckily enough, with the op is also on a site, so should be able to possibly defend this. Flash comes out. Taz, this is a very tough angle to hold it down. If you would play pit, you of course have a little bit more cover. Problem gets spotted out because the shadow peeks first. Flarich in mid gets a kill onto Reiko, and now it's all on Stomp and Newt to try and defend this. Stomp, of course, has had some amazing performances so far. They managed to get the kill on the Problem through the smoke, but Kalinka chops down Stomp, and it's all on Neo. Does have an M4 in hand right now. He's going to push through the smoke, peek wide, but Kalinka has his number, and he rings it completely. That is going to be HELLRAISERS picking up their third of the map.
And it looks like they might get their fourth on the cards pretty soon as well. HONORIS going to need to take another eco in round number 8, and that should allow their opponents up onto the tied scoreline. It always feels like HELLRAISERS take a little bit of time to get going in these maps, but when they do, the fragging, well, it doesn't seem too bad. If they can finish off this half strongly, look for 8 rounds at bare minimum, but a 9-6 or a 10-5 half, it could be doable if they win the next gun round.
It definitely could be. Neo's already pushing towards T-spawn, and they might not expect this heavy push coming out. He spots a player towards truck in mid, but Kalinka peeks wide, and oh, it's going to be the long-range stopping game. Taz gets himself a kill, but Problem gets tagged down as well, and Reiko is going to be the last one to fall. Quick execution coming out. Annihilation from HELLRAISERS, and the score is tied between the two sides. HELLRAISERS definitely starting to wake up now on their T side. Well, actually, Flarich, he's on 13 kills. Flarich is waking up on the T side. Oh, wow, he's already on 13 kills. Did not spot that one out early enough, but definitely stepping up for his team where they need him.
Problem and Kalinka trying to make plays here as well. This is super interesting and very rarely see an early suicide commitment from any T-sided squad on this map, but they're trying to go straight out mid despite the fact that that mid smoke has actually missed the mark. They need to do something about that now, and they actually double smoke that angle. That really is heavily readable as a mid to B strategy, and it's going to put Prism and Neo under a lot of pressure in the B site. They should know they're being wrapped in on now by all of HELLRAISERS, but they can't do anything about Kalinka. His entry kills, sometimes they can be so lethal indeed. Reiko and Stomp shut out of the B bomb site. Reiko found a top mid, and Stomp now left trying to find late round damage with this AWP. A very quick one from HELLRAISERS, and it goes in their favor.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Of course, they completely rushed down towards mid and immediately went out towards mid, something that the HONORIS side was not prepared for, and that is one of the HELLRAISERS strats that I've just been missing in the previous rounds, where they have a plan, a quick rush, and they execute it nicely, something that they've just been lackluster to use on Train and Nuke, which are pretty much, you can easily do the same strat on Nuke. It's a Train, well, Nuke as well, but Train especially, you can just, you know, throw everything over the side at the start and then rush towards the A site. So hopefully they can adapt that quick and fast play style into more maps, because so far they're not looking too bad of a T side recovery, at least on the Dust 2 map.
Around ahead, and they should be able to convert this one against pistols that are largely without body armor. There are now just Eagles left on the board for HONORIS, so you do want to be careful about those cheeky headshots, especially when the Deegs are stacked up in the A-bomb site such as they are. But problem finding Taz makes this one Easier and easier by the moment. Peeking the tunnels is Prism, who's now been taken down by JR as well. That's the bomb spotted by the CTs towards B, so they're going to start slowly sending Stomp towards that side of the map. Raiko's found a couple of lucky ones on short as well. Stomp's even found Kalinka now. This is what I mean. You cannot just be walking into these Deagle crosshairs because they will tap your face off.
And Raiko, he's looking for more right now towards short. That was okay. Well, I'll just shut up about their T side. These Deagles immediately cast his curse me massively. They smoke towards the B site. And it's going to be Raiko trying to go for the big fight. And he does manage to get the kill onto Flareage. It's a one-on-one situation. JR versus Stomp. Opper versus, well, Opper, but the Stomp will be picking up an AK now as well. Bomb plant is going to come through. And does JR expect him to come up short? That is the big question. Will he hit that shot as well? Stomp is going to be playing around with the time right now to try and make JR second guess himself. It is going to be a long range taps coming out. Flash in as well. Molly on site. JR falls back. Gets kind of lucky that he doesn't get taken down there. And Stomp with more utility. The flick connects, but no kill just yet. Swap over to the USP fire. The Glock and will get the final kill. And this round was way too close for comfort.
It certainly was. HELLRAISERS nearly lost control of that one, and off the back of the kills, they actually get double AWPs out on the CT side of Dust 2. Neo and Stomp with snipers in hand, and surprisingly enough, Dust 2 has become one of those maps where double AWPs just seemingly is a viable strategy. The sites are so far away from each other in terms of sheer distance that having an AWP available on B just to find early entry picks can be really valuable alongside an AWP on the A side of the map, finding any potential aggressive Ts.
And immediately they go out towards mid, which opens up the mid to B split. But look at this aggression from HONORIS. Luckily, Raiko does not get shut down by JR's op right there. But it does make HONORIS scared with their positioning. Of course, they can easily wrap onto the B site because there's only one player there, Neo, who does have the big green stick available. But it is still going to be scary nonetheless. They're actually using this to head out A long, where there is no defender right now. Stomp on the A site with the op is going to be the one that has to hold that push coming through from HELLRAISERS. This might actually be a pretty good call, all things considered, because you see Taz is actually holding down mid right now. Could go for a quick flank as well. He's playing very close angles. And one player towards short in Jalem, who does get a tag onto him, so that gives away some intel. But JR shuts down Stomp, and that means the A site is completely clear. Luckily, Raiko on short will be able to convert the kill coming in. And Taz, there is no utility on the HELLRAISERS side. Kalinka is the last man standing. Neo down below will be able to cross past the smoke and get towards site. Is going to be full stick from Kalinka, and Neo should be able to shut him down. Kalinka will not expect Neo so close, and that is going to be another one for HONORIS.
A very close one, but HONORIS have secured another CT-sided round. They've put an end to that HELLRAISERS streak as well. They've not put an end to the cash for the T side, but it's important for them to win one back and start building some CT-sided momentum again. There are not too many rounds remaining in this first half. And so both sides are going to be competing intently for them. It doesn't look like there's enough cash to bring out 2 AWPs this time for the CT side, so it's just the 4 M4s supporting the single sniper.
Yep, and it's actually kind of problematic here for HONORIS because HELLRAISERS have an incredible amount of money still left. Even if they would lose this one, they have enough for 2 full buys afterwards. They can buy whatever they want, and they definitely will. So HONORIS, they're not going to get themselves a free round anytime soon. Every single one is going to be blood, sweat, and tears thrown into a win on their side. And mid is actually pretty much open right now that HELLRAISERS could split towards. with the position of Stomp being pretty much far back on the A site. 2 players towards A long as well. There's going to be flashes coming out, but Stomp, he's just holding down the angle. If anyone peeks him, will get a shot and hopefully fall back. Oh, that's a nice one. Takes down Jalem right before the smoke blooms and will get his team a man advantage. That Stomp op is absolutely terrifying. Maybe they should just try to dodge it as much as possible.
The bomb is still in the B tunnels at the moment for this HELLRAISERS squad, so it looks like they're going to try for a mid to B execution rather than hitting the A bomb site straight up. The timing is perfect for Taz, though. They are literally holding the flank until the moment he arrives and does an incredible amount of damage. Now they're thinking about pushing in, but Problem can't swing out. The Stomp is waiting for him, finds the long-range player, but not the close. Kalinka with the bomb on his back is the last left in these tunnels. Can't secure that opening headshot and is paranoid about his tight left angle, so much so he may not be aware of his right-hand side. Prism takes him down, and HONORIS tie up the scoreline. 6-6 here. It's another very close affair on this second map as HELLRAISERS take, I believe, their first time out of the map.
Yep, they definitely will need to recuperate after that one right there. It is very slow playstyle coming out of HELLRAISERS. Again, not the biggest fan of the full-on defaults. Like more the aggression, you know, get A long quickly where you have 50 million pop flashes flying all over T's versus CTs, or get that mid aggression quickly as we saw previously, which I think is more in their strong suits than going for those close, those slow plays, trying to outplay your opponent. Because if it comes down to raw aim, I would say that HONORIS, that HONORIS just straight up beats them. It's especially Stomp, who's been absolutely insane on that op. He is terrifying on a map like Dust 2. It is going to be a quick push out A long, but it's only Flourish right now who's going to get naded down because there is no backup from his teammates. Neo gets the kill in mid, and Stomp misses a shot right there, so that is an opening for the HELLRAISERS side. Kind of pretty lucky there with the opening coming through. They should be able to get the bomb plant in. And Taz just goes for the white peak. No backup from his team whatsoever. He just tries to 1v3 that one on his own. And that is just not the play to make right there. Just play with your teammates. Double up. Let them get the bomb plant. They are stuck in sight, so that gives you a better chance. And now towards short, Neo gets tagged heavily. The economy of HONORIS is not that great either, and Rico is going to try and push out long A. Is going to get shut down, and a great defense from HELLRAISERS to win themselves their 7th and stay and get back in the lead.
And despite the opening kills in that round going the way of HONORIS as well, HELLRAISERS are able to retake control of that one. They are pulling ahead in terms of the fragging now. Kalinka and Flourish both tied up on 13 as Problem closes them down on 12. It's Taz still leading the way for this HONORIS side, but the fragging has definitely been with the T side of HELLRAISERS so far. Looks like it's a double boost up onto A short, chosen by HONORIS, but it's the long commitment selected by HELLRAISERS. That means no contention early, means free long control for the T side, and with it being just Deagles and Scouts that they're up against, the right utility deployment on that A short angle should give HELLRAISERS an easy 8th round.
Yeah, most likely, but again, these Deagles have done it before on HONORIS side. JR does get the opening kill onto Neo. That's one of the Scouts down. Stomp still has one, and the rest of the 3 players have Deagle, so you still have to be a little bit careful. But you definitely need to not lose another play here. Stomp gonna go for that duel in the pit, against the pit play, which actually, I mean, if JR is in the pit, it's advantageous for the Scout player in that situation because all he can see is the head. But JR does shut him down, and HONORIS with the last 3 players, all Deagles close by, should be a pretty easy cleanup for HELLRAISERS.
They're going to walk into the Deagle stack, and this always makes me nervous. With 30 seconds left on the clock, this is an entirely winnable round by Honoris. The Deagles go out and start dealing damage, but Kalinka and JR reply with the important kills, and now Taz left on his own against 4. Won't be able to do anything about the plant here, and really would have to find some insane shots if he wanted to win the round. He'll take down Kalinka at bare minimum, but that's 8 rounds for HELLRAISERS as they hunt down at the 9-6 scoreline at the end of the first half. It's up to HONORIS to try and deny them to make this as balanced as possible.
Yep, and HELLRAISERS, I mean, they're going to go for that double auto sniper op opener so that they can just blow up the mid doors. It's always absolutely terrifying. Prism gets tagged pretty heavily, and Flarage gets headshot through the doors, through the smoke, and that's an opening kill coming through. Prism, Kalinka actually burned himself. He 1G'd. What? This is the second 1G that we've seen today.
From HELLRAISERS as well. Now that one's a bit more understandable. He's Molotov the close angle, run out to try and take Prism down, but Prism has dealt enough tags as he stood in the flames that the flames do the rest of the work. JR's converted him, but the rotations are very fast from Honoris. They can't quite wrap into the lower tunnels in time, and actually Stomp may get locked out by that Molotov. Taz finds an important kill, but Problem gets it back, meaning the bomb can be recovered at bare minimum, and they might consider rotating away even HELLRAISERS at this point. There is active B defense ready and waiting for you, and Problem on just 18 HP off the back of that utility is going to be hurt by the rifle if it peeks in here. There goes Problem, and Flarich now alone against Stomp. Position known by the AWP, and he swings out, but he's missed the shot. That is really crucial. One-on-one scenario, Flarich peeking back in, and he's run out of ammunition. What is happening in this engagement? Eventually, he wins it out with a triple kill in the round, and HELLRAISERS, they pick up their 9.
Oh, that one was way too close for comfort. They could have just also waited for the bomb tick to come through or anything along those lines, but nonetheless, they managed to take this one away on HELLRAISER's side. Honestly, for HELLRAISERS, I am hoping that they win the pistol, because I don't know how good Honoris is going to be on their T side. Both sides, oh, yeah, that definitely does paint a different story than I would have expected at the moment. Portalis, what are your odds on from our partners at LootBet?
I perhaps might have them a little bit closer, maybe something like a 1.6 to a 2 point something. I'm not quite sure, but this still definitely does favor HELLRAISERS. I feel Flarich, though, may have needed that opening kill. Now has to back away. At least he's not fallen. That's the critical factor. He's got the information that this could be a B play, and they can rotate quickly in there. Too busy blocking each other in the mid doors at the moment, though, and these rotations are going to be late as a result of that. JR has taken down Taz through the doors, so has Problem, and that damage onto these Glocks is just so extreme that a retake might be easier in this scenario. They've all chosen to go into the tunnels, though, and that's the one angle that's been smoked off.
Yeah, so now let's just wait until the smoke is gone. They have no kits because they all went for body armor on the HELLRAISERS side, which I never, ever like. And, you know, just sprays through the smoke, gets himself 3 kills. Luckily enough, JR and Flarich do both chime in. Time is ticking down. Flarich has to clutch this one out quickly. And, yeah, this is the problem with not having a kit.
Whoa!
Does manage to get the shot somehow, but no kit, no glory. Don't be a loser, guys. Buy a diffuser.
And another questionable tactical call coming out from the HELLRAISERS squad. They go into lower tunnels. They're very close to that mid door. They know the smoke has gone down. They could quite easily have chosen to go back through mid and push through the doors. Instead, they all choose to run through that smoke, and that just lets Neo chew them apart with the Glock. That's a beautiful fadeaway from Flarich, but what's been wrong all day for HELLRAISERS is the tactical calling, and it really worries me that it's showing itself in the second pistol round of Dust 2.
Kalinka going for the wide peak, gets the scout tag in. Flarich This is not looking too wonderful for HELLRAISERS all of a sudden. They do a lot of damage though, so that is one big plus. But HONORIS, I'm so fearing for HELLRAISERS that they might just run away with this game. However, HONORIS, we did see them in overtime in the previous map, and under absolute pressure, they have completely fumbled as well. So definitely still a solid chance here for HELLRAISERS. They just need to get their strats in order. Their game plan here. JLim might get the shot onto Neo, but Neo is too fast on the trigger. Will shut down JLim, and now Flash on short. Flash coming out. Is still going to win that duel. AK is retrievable, but Flash is down to 13 HP. And they're going to get the kill on JR. Now it's just the two of them left on HELLRAISERS to try and get anything done. But problem getting the kill on Rico is a pretty nice one. However, how much more can you do right here? You don't have a kit on your side. You don't have anything great. Yeah, just save your weapons into the next one. You have a full eco anyway. It's a decent amount of damage dealt by the HELLRAISER squad.
Well, HONORIS, they have 8 secured, should be able to get 9 easily off the back of this, and they'll be looking for 10 at the start of the next full gun round. These 2 rifles saved forward should not lead to a HELLRAISERS buy in the next round. It should still be a hard eco, regardless of this save, and I don't think I share your optimism for the HELLRAISERS side at this point in time. I think that HONORIS are more than likely to come back into this map, and despite their T side being statistically their weaker one, it is the better one overall on this map for a reason. And I'm just so worried about that HELLRAISERS tactical calling, all based off that one pistol round play, really. That's such an important round to win, and the call just to stack up and push through a smoke is really an awful one.
Oh, it definitely was not the greatest call to make, but hopefully they'll be able to recover from that mistake. They have double HE grenades towards B, so Flarich with a massive flank in mid. Neo, he gets himself the catch onto Rico as well. This might turn around quickly. Oh no! Oh, it gets only one. Big damage on Rico, down to 1 HP. Almost 1Gs himself, and that would be the third one this game. But they're going to go for the push towards the B side, of course. Problem gets himself a kill. Peek out wide with the P250. It's all on JR and JLim to try and take down Taz. But Taz, he's got the bomb on his back and has armor at least. So that is a big plus for him. That definitely should have been a double kill from Flarich in mid, though.
Goes for the spray at a bit too long of a range. He's lucky, to be honest with you, to find just the one kill that he does. If he doesn't get anything in that angle, his team are going to be flaming him off the face of the earth. Taz walking out into mid, straight into JLim's crosshairs, and that's his positioning given away, but he's found all the impact he needs to. He's isolated this into a one-on-one against a player with no body armor now. This should be easily winnable by Taz in this one-on-one engagement, especially considering the fact that JR has no idea the plant is about to come through on the A side of the map. Good job on Taz from the clutch here. It's going to take a miracle if JR wants to win this one.
Well, miracles do tend to happen, and if Taz puts his back in the wrong angle, might get shot from behind. JR is playing that sneaky play, but JR turns his back to Taz, actually, and it is still going to be HONORIS getting that one through. However, that round was very costly on their side, and now HELLRAISERS will be picking up their big boy guns with their big boy utility to try and hold off this HONORIS push. That was a pretty much eco round for HELLRAISERS, so in all things pretty nice. JR gets himself an op drop, which is going to put Flarich's terrible utility, but at least JR has utility and a kit. Finally, they decide to pick up a kit on the HELLRAISERS side of things, and let's see if they will be able to convert this one in their first round on the CT side.
Flarich has no utility left. He's totally alone towards long. Normally in this kind of a scenario, you'll see a team just leave the angle alone rather than commit a player with no help at all. He can't take down Taz as he misses the opening shots, and that's him removed with no refrag potential. The lurker of Neo's all the way out on the B side of the map as well, which keeps Problem's rotation locked into that half of the map. At bare minimum, they've got Kalinka in an aggressive angle here. He might be able to wrap all the way around into A long, and that would really be beautiful. He has to land the perfect timing. Prism throwing that smoke, that's going to sell his positioning a bare minimum. This is one free kill for Kalinka, and he probably just has to save away now that Stomp has found that kill. He needs to pick up the AK and rotate to his teammates. Honoris, they're looking for a way into the A side.
Yeah, but Taz gets shot down through the smoke. Rico jumps up towards site. JR needs to hold down that Rico. Pig gets the bomb dropped, and it's all on Stomp. Has an op in hand. They have no money left. Does manage to get one. Don't peek into... Oh my god, that was so scary. If he pressed left mouse button instead of right, that would have been a kill right there, right then. And HELLRAISERS managed to take that one away from HONORIS. No bomb plant, nothing. So they will be forced on an eco on HONORIS. Or they might force up. Well, it seems they're going to call a tactical timeout. I think they'll probably force up.
Let's take a look at the cash. They might. But there's sort of one factor to incorporate into that mindset. That's that Taz is out on 18 kills at the moment. And he's one of the more experienced players of that roster. Regardless of who is officially listed as the Honoris IGL, when it starts coming down to the wire, it's Taz and Neo who have all the say in that roster. And him on all those frags, that was the point I was making. He's more likely to go for the force buy in that scenario, try and carry things individually and have the team work around him. So he is going to be going for that AK buy. The rest of his teams with just pistols and a scout to work with. HELLRAISERS, they could get up to 11 here and maybe even get 12-9. They've got to play their cards right, though.
They definitely have to play him perfectly. We have A long gifted away to HONORIS. They have no smokes. That's a big mistake. This cross is near impossible to make if the rotations are coming in without a smoke. Ooh, Stomp does get his head chopped off by JR in the pit area. JR spots another one out, so has to be careful. There's going to be a push forward from Taz, going close for the cross. Actually gets the headshot in on Flares. Gets the second. That's the player that you were talking about. No, JR will get executed. Taz with the triple, with the AK, and the man just started popping off when his team needed him. And the money situation for HELLRAISERS is also in just absolute desperation mode right now. They're going to have to save their weapons. And HONORIS steal that round away with a god play coming out from Taz.
There's just nothing HELLRAISERS can do about it. Taz walks into the A bomb site and taps all of them in the head with an AK. There's no counter-stranding that one. No utility really needed by HONORIS at all. They use the CT smoke to cover themselves from the AWP and then arrive in the bomb site and secure the plant. Excellent round for HONORIS to find. It's 10-10 now, and probably an eco coming through from HELLRAISERS in the next. In fact, it might even be a force buy coming out in the next one for HELLRAISERS, as the loss bonus can't quite support it. I think they will actually be going for a save in this one, despite Kalinka being up on 6k. I just don't see where the cash justification comes from. They're going to be buying up into this regardless, though, and that could be a real difference maker in the half. Now HONORIS have an opportunity to decimate the CT economy and pull out ahead of this map.
Yeah, but they will have JR on that op. Hopefully he'll be able to win the duel against op. Has had a pretty decent performance on this BT side so far. For just in general, JR has been having some nice crucial shots with the op. Started to wake up slightly, but Taz, that last round just went for the hero play right there, and that's what HONORIS needed. They need JR to step up on their side. And this time, I don't think HONORIS are going to give that many freebies in the flanks mid, because they just got away with murder twice already on their CT side for HELLRAISERS by that early aggression just walking up mid.
Well, this time, a lot later in the round before HONORIS looked to take any kind of map control, and based on of this positioning, it looks like they're going for a mid to B execution, rotating Prism into the tunnels late and looking to put that mid smoke down, perhaps get in towards the B site, or they'll look to take short control and just have Prism lurk over on the B site, make sure that any potential stacking A players are evenly spread out across the map, let's say, so that the numbers advantage does favor HONORIS when they choose that execution. They're still making a decision about where they want to go. A is the answer as they try and sell the fake on B. It's going to keep Kalinka in the B site at least for now, but A is definitely the target of this execution. And Jalem, he's found the important first kill. Oh, he's gone absolutely massive and gotten a second. Problem finds one onto Prism as well, and that is huge work on this defense. JR takes down Neo, and Stomp alone on the AWP has to slink away. HELLRAISERS may have just done enough to hold on to this round.
Yeah, he needs to keep that op alive at all costs right now. Of course, gets sprayed through the smoke, and that is no money into the next, no op into the next. And HONORIS, I mean, last time when they had about this, they had actually worse money. They did go for the force up and gave that AK to Taz. Are they going to do it again? Because this is not looking that wonderful right now for them. They're going to force up again on HONORIS side and see if with lackluster weaponry, a little bit better utility than the last time, they will be able to turn this one around.
I mean, it worked out previously. Why not give it a try again? You can tell HELLRAISERS are really paranoid about this B bomb site. 2 rounds consecutively. They've kept fairly heavy commitment towards it, and this time there's 3 men stacked up in it. It means Flaric has to go massive. A double kill might be enough, but it also might not. JR's totally alone on his AWP and been overwhelmed by Ryko. It's a man advantage for the CTs, but they still need to retake this site, and an AWP is definitely recoverable. I don't know if it wants to be utilized, though. Ryko more comfortable on the AK, and Neo in the site, he's the man that has the early work to do.
Yeah, they do need to push forward on time. Of course, don't play too long with this timer. Don't let it tick too low. 2 players on short. Kalinka actually jumps down below. Jalem is still towards short. Reiko on long. The flank is going to come in any second now, and that should be the defuse for HELLRAISERS. Good job on their side. I just needed to make sure that Kalinka had a kit, because I have seen, I mean, who was it again? I can't remember. There was on a Mirage game where the player without a kit started to defuse. Oh, that was ages ago. But yeah, I'm always afraid that the player without a kit starts defusing, and luckily enough, he did have one. And unfortunately for HONORIS, this is absolutely dreadful right now. They're already a map down, and that was pretty much the Hail Mary, the second Hail Mary that they went for.
They have to drop onto pistols in this. It should be 13-10 for the HELLRAISERS squad, and this time, their paranoia might just be justified, as it's early B tunnels presence from HONORIS. It's probably going to be an execution as well. They put out utility, but instead take it towards lower, not quite ready to charge into those awaiting CT crosshairs.
Yep, but this is pretty weak weaponry. Kalinka close range gets 1 kill. Flash is not going to completely blind him. Crossfire is there, and the last 2 players pushing towards the B side. Jalem is still helping. Problem there. Problem actually gets taken down, but they already chime in time. Stomp is the last man standing. Tried to find a gun. He tossed away his pistol. And that's going to be 13 for HELLRAISERS, but a full buy coming out from HONORIS again with an op on Stomp and Rico. Double glass cannons. I'm not really so sure about that one.
It's definitely a Hail Mary. Double glass cannon AWP on the T side of Dust 2. They're desperate for a round win, HONORIS, and they feel as though the double sniper strategy might just give it to them. Kalinka is going to swing out mid at the perfect time into Taz, and Stompsorp is not ready to go for the refrag. That's a nightmarish way for HONORIS to start the round, as JR's been spotted out now. He needs to be careful on this mid angle as Prism just executes him. I don't know why on earth he got away with being that far forward without any supporting player on A short. That's the man advantage just given straight away by HELLRAISERS.
And Neo play throwing out all of his utility towards that A site, which of course puts them in a problematic situation if they're not going to follow this execution, because they're running a little bit low on utility here on the side of HONORIS. That molly is going to tick onto Kalinka, giving away position intel that he's nearby, and Flairich on site has to go big with at least a double. Peeks out wide, gets almost a second one. Well, actually, he didn't even get a tag in, but it looked pretty close. Stomp will chime in for a kill, and it's all on Problem right now. The man who did previously have a 1v5 clutch, can he clutch this one out? Picks up an op from that JR dropped in the previous round, and will just save it into the next. That is going to be HONORIS getting themselves 11. HELLRAISERS will still have a solid buy into the next one, especially with that op save, though.
And again, it's just confusing calling going on from HELLRAISERS. They have the opening advantage. All you have to do is sit back and wait at that point in time. And the odds are you're going to come out on top of the gunfights. But instead, they push JR into mid to try and force a second advantage for his team. And instead, he just throws his life away totally alone. I have no idea what he's doing out there. And well, that's the 11th on the board for HONORIS. That Hail Mary AWP buy, it did work out, and they're going for another full investment in this one. It's double snipers out for the CTs now, though, and if HELLRAISERS lose control of this round, HONORIS are right back in the game.
Yeah, they're going to go for the Hail Mary. Surprisingly enough, HONORIS did not keep their second op this time. Flairich is going to get taken out by Raiko. Nice usage there. The smokes or the flash were not perfectly on the mark. Taz luckily chiming in as well, and that's going to be a man advantage for the HONORIS side. Quick execution toward, well, push towards the A ramp was well done indeed. But immediately HONORIS slow down. The flank coming out already from Kalinka as well in tunnels. JR will get caught by Stomp, and Problem just tries to rush through the smoke for some reason, and that is going to be the round lost, with Kalinka having to save the op into the next one. But Neo is close by. Nice shot from Kalinka. Actually, honestly, opping better than JR right now. Is swapping back towards the AK, and don't really know why he's contesting anything at all right now. And JR is just going to immediately buy the op behind their 4 USBs.
What is happening in the HELLRAISERS TeamSpeak server? What language are they speaking? What is going on with this calling? Why has he bought an AWP? That makes no sense to me. Could have dropped Deagles over. Instead, he shoots his teammate in the back with it. What is happening? I am so confused with this round. Raiko's only on 10 HP. Somehow, Flairich has killed him with the USPS. And despite JR executing his teammate at the start of this round, it's come into a 2-on-2 scenario. I have absolutely no idea how.
I need to rewatch that round, because that made no sense in even the slightest possible situation. Prism, JR might get perfect timing going. Will get the shot in. That's the bomb drop. Neo, he has no idea where Flairich is right now, but JR might not have a single clue where Neo is. So this is just a weird round, all things considered, and Neo does get spotted out. Shooting in mid, he's gonna rush up to JR, and somehow JR gets himself a team kill and a triple kill that round with the op against, and for use. I just, what is it? I'm baffled. It's getting a little bit late, everyone. It's 1 a.m. over in Europe. That might be the reason right now.
Oh my word, I think both of our brains have turned into alphabet soup at this point in time. JR goes for the ridiculous AWP buy, one of the most ill-advised buys I've ever seen get taken out in my entire life. A crucial point in the game, no less, and starts it off with a team kill, but finishes it off with a brilliant passage of play. Multi-kill onto his opponents. He's now in serious trouble on the car, though, and this a feature of this HELLRAISERS squad. They always tend to leave the CTs alone in their defensive angles. This time it's Jalen who opens up for the first. Long control has gone the way of HONORIS, but now HELLRAISERS can just back off and play the numbers game based off of that one kill. This is a force buy from HONORIS. It is the Hail Mary play, and as long as they don't overextend HELLRAISERS, they should be able to trade out for these kills.
Oh, mid Kalinka getting tagged with the scout, and that is a pretty dangerous tag because one pistol tag will be enough to shut him down. And it's not over just yet. HELLRAISERS players are reasonably tagged, and I've definitely seen them lose rounds like this before. So I mean, if they lose this one, I'm just absolutely still baffled, because there is barely any utility left on the HONORIS side. They're going to have to go for that just raw peek. 2 flashes for the cross, and that's about it. JR might actually get overwhelmed if they just rush him down below. And he's going to go for the re-peek. Luckily, Problem does help him out, but JR gets taken out because he's stuck in Cubby on site. Too many kills flying all over. Look at the HP on the HELLRAISERS players, though. And that's going to be the bomb being planted. Stomp gets a kill on Clinton. No, bro. No. No.
Oh, dear. Blarich, what has gone on in the A-bomb site? HELLRAISERS, how has this happened? How have you let HONORIS in? This was your opportunity to close out the map. And now HONORIS have been given a lifeline back into things. How has this happened? They just let themselves get overwhelmed. They keep players in the B-bomb site too paranoid about the execution on that side of the map. And they just give too much room to HONORIS over on A. HELLRAISERS have to be kicking themselves with that loss. How the hell have they let that one slip through their fingers?
I just don't know anymore. Is this going to be another OT game? It does look very much like an OT game coming in. And, well, it's getting close. It's going down to the wire again between these two sides. Of course, the economy situation and not looking too great. JR has his op again, and they've got their, USPs. HELLRAISERS calling the timeout right now. How many Hail Marys can both of these teams still keep throwing out and winning with in this series? It's absolutely ridiculous at this point.
They've pretty much already gone for the force, HELLRAISERS, which means it's a couple of rifles, a couple of Deagles, maybe even not Deagles. Kalinka's on just a P250. Clarets will have a Deag to work with, but this is not an ideal buy, and it could be HONORIS winning Dust 2 all off the back of that one. I think they thought it was going to be an easy job on the A site, and they just whiffed after whiffed after whiffed those gunfights, and now Map 3 is a very distinct possibility unless HELLRAISERS can pull off something special in round 28 to put themselves up onto map point. Oh dear, they've gone aggressive with JR, and it's totally the wrong call. They've recovered the AWP, but Raiko's taken Kalinka down as well. HELLRAISERS, they do love a gamble when things get tense, and these gambles have not really paid off for them throughout the series. Jalem can get one back, but Raiko's still there. Not been able to find the kill just yet. He may be able to get away with this M4. That would be very lucky indeed.
You have no idea how close I am to just smashing my face on my desk. Mid push coming out. Problem is getting flanked. Jalem luckily chimes in with a kill, and it's, I mean, he has to 1v2 it with 15 HP. There's not really a solid possibility for him. Op is somewhere, I assume in mid recoverable. Oh, yeah, it's up there. They tried to toss it away, and it is going to be Jalem saving the op into the next. So there is still a slight possibility for HELLRAISERS to take the next, but it might also just be OT. This game is absolutely batshit crazy.
It could still be over in regulation time. We're going to 14-14. It's going to have to be a HELLRAISERS eco. I mean, unless they're past the point of ecoing at this point. Unless they are just on force by reserves until the end of the map. If they were, we'd definitely be heading to train as the decider, I feel. Well, Jalem and JR, they've already bought armor. What goes on with the rest of the squad's money? That's the real question. No timeout being called from HELLRAISERS, so probably an eco happening to try and contest the next one. HONORIS, they are the side that are going to get 15 first. I cannot believe it. A clear-cut opportunity to win this map, just as HONORIS had in overtime there over on Nuke. both sides, it feels like, have trouble closing down these maps.
It's gonna be a doozy indeed. JR did get a tag onto Neo to start it off with, and they have one player in problem towards that B side P250 close range. HONORIS kind of scared right now, but it does seem that B is going to be their play to make. But in the meantime, they have put in a second player in. Jalem has himself a deagle, and the molly could actually be very big here. Unfortunately, his positioning is going to be rather problematic to get that good molly damage in. And the rotations from HELLRAISERS are very far away, with JR's op being all the way towards A long. There's going to be the push coming out, but immediately one kill coming through. Jalem whiffing all of his shots, and that should be the op saved into the next for HELLRAISERS, or at least attempted save. Does get the kill onto Stomp, not that it matters too much at this point. Neo gets the flank player down, and that is going to be JR still holding the angle, which is rather risky if you ask me. You really need that op into the next round.
Sticking around for exits, why? They mean nothing. They're not going to be able to take any weapons away from HONORIS at this point in time. They're going to have the round victory bonus at the end of the half. I mean, Neo might have to drop down, but the comparative value of an AK in the hands of an HONORIS player compared to the AWP in the hands of JR is insane. I don't know what's going on. They're just making the wrong decisions on the HELLRAISERS side. Flat out wrong. And this is really not the right time to do it. We're going to end up on Train as a third map now. And that's a map that went absolutely terrible for HELLRAISERS earlier in the day. They attained one round on their T side of that map. They could have won this series already, but have lost control of one too many rounds that they should have won, to be honest with you. Now they are desperate to force overtime in our second map of the series. HELLRAISERS, they had an opportunity to win this one already.
Yep, they definitely did. Will this be OT, or will this be HONORIS taking map number 2 in full duration? This is absolutely insane if they do. There is going to be smokes towards mid, but it does seem like it's going to be that a short push coming out. JR has a scout, so not the best weaponry coming out. Will be a dry peek, and Reiko does shut him down. Close range Jalem, Molly's coming in everywhere. Drops the bomb down below. That is a massive drop. They have to try and recover it, but luckily enough, they are being shut down all over the place right now, so they might just win that straight up fights. The straight up fights, and Neo gets the kill as well. There's going to be sprayed down. Bomb has been planted, but it is going to be HONORIS taking map number 2, and we are heading off towards Train for the decider.
Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. The third map of Train coming up after this quick break.
I hate this.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. fights I've been to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Malta Vibes, brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. It started off competitive, and it continued to be competitive on Dust 2, and in true Malta Vibes fashion, we are going the distance. The third map of Train, ready and waiting to go between HONORIS and HELLRAISERS to determine who our second playoff team of the day will be and who will be eliminated from this Malta Vibes Cup. My name is Protalis, and talking you through this third and final map of the day with me is DK Truman. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
Well, with how competitive these two teams have been so far, I am kind of worried. I mean, the rounds have been weird. You got it. What we saw in Dust 2, I hope that they both recover from that, because there were some rounds that just really should never have happened. But as you can see, first map overtime, second map going the full distance. So I assume we're going to get very close scores on the third. However, earlier today, HELLRAISERS got absolutely annihilated on their T side of Train. And yeah, I'm kind of expecting the same story here. Both sides will be very weak on their T side, but their CT side should handle most of the problems.
And both of these teams really could have won the series already. You think back to that first map in overtime, there were 2 rounds that HONORIS lost control of, a 1v5 clutch and a round in which they didn't plant the bomb in time, that would have seen them take the 19-17 scoreline on that map. And then back on Dust 2, they were 14-12 up, I believe. HELLRAISERS up against a force buy, Pistols walking into the A bomb site, and they completely lose control and let HONORIS back into the map. In terms of the individual head-to-heads, it was Problem in the lead, but now it is actually Ryko after that last map in terms of raw kills. 32 headshots as well for him, so edging things out. In terms of that headshot percentage, and I mean, really, it's just all up in the air on Train. HELLRAISERS were just so bad on that T side earlier that if they start on the T side again, I'm almost willing to give this map to HONORIS just based on the side start. 14-1 was absolutely terrible, and their T sides haven't looked much better throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly that. And with that, very important to that knife round, we are going live to the knife round right now. It is going to be rather crucial for both sides to start off on that coveted CT side. This is actually one of the things that I find very problematic for HELLRAISERS is this is a very op-central map, like probably, I would say, the most op-centric map in the entire pool in general, and it's going to be tough for JR because I have not been that impressed with his opping. Kalinka has looked like a pretty decent secondary opper though, but Stomp definitely has been looking like the superior of the two throughout the day.
HONORIS winning that knife round and starting on the CT side of things. That is exactly how they will want to begin their efforts here on Train. And I'm just looking back through the old map pick percentages, just checking out the previous statistics here, and it does look like this map might be one that HONORIS tried to avoid. They've only sort of played it once in the last month or so up against Arvez. That was a 16-2 loss, but I mean, with HELLRAISERS having the disastrous T side that they did earlier on, certainly anything is possible on this map. The first pistol round of Train about to get underway then, ladies and gentlemen. HELLRAISERS versus HONORIS, our final map of the day. No matter what happens, we will have a victor in this series, and we will have an eliminated team from the event. It's all to play for on this final map of the day.
Yep, and it's going to come down to this very important pistol. We see HELLRAISERS rushing out towards the A side, getting onto the bombs. The bomb's actually not there yet, so they're going towards connector to, and then heading to that B site. Okay, little sneaky strat coming out, rushing through. Jalem holding CT as well. It's going to be JR getting himself the kill onto Reiko, and a nice shutdown from HELLRAISERS. Neo trying to get anything done, but of course he is walking into a crossfire, and that is going to be the end of Neo. HELLRAISERS open up with a nice pistol in their favor, and that is going to be HONORIS on the back foot at the start. In the previous series that we casted HELLRAISERS against Na'Vi Jr., they did not reach the bomb site with the bomb. I think they attempted to plant it once, and that has been their entire endeavor towards the T side, so they definitely look a lot better right here.
They've already found a round which is much better than the start they got off to against that Na'Vi Junior squad earlier in the day. HONORIS looking like they want to go for the forced buy in this second round scenario. That nade could do quite a bit of damage, and it does. Tags down a few players quite heavily indeed, and that does bring them down into one-shot potential from the scout. Statistically speaking, this map does definitely favor the HELLRAISERS. You have to say that they are the more comfortable squad on it, despite their losses earlier on in the day. I probably am edging them out as the favorites to win this map.
But Neo getting himself the opening kill, Scout tapping through the smoke. Kalinka will get the kill on Prism in return though, but it definitely is still a rather doable here, close range. 1-for-1 trade again. The Scout from Neo is still alive and jumping around the site. A lot of tags coming through, and that means one Scout tag equals one kill right now. Stomp is going to get the kill on Kalinka, and now has to do it 1v2. Damage has been dealt, but will be very tough to recover here. He should just pretty much see it as an op, one shot, one kill. Crawling himself closer. Flarich, is he going to peek towards Ivy, which would of course be super risky because that would put them at a 1v1 situation. But yeah, just the semi-jiggle peeks on site are going to be enough for most likely for HELLRAISERS to win this round. Ooh, peeks out wide. On top of red. My God, how does he land that shot? And now Flarich towards white box is the last man standing for the T's. Will get spotted out, and Stomp cannot hold down that control. So it is going to be HELLRAISERS getting themselves the second and take that lead on the T side.
They should be able to convert the 3-0 start off the back of this one and try and charge forward to a bit more of a victory on their T side than they accomplished earlier. It's still the weaker side of this map in general, and the weaker side of the map for both of these teams, statistically speaking. So if HELLRAISERS can get off to a good start here on the T side, that bodes well for them heading forward through the rest of the map. This boost in connector is not going to give a free kill to Stomp, despite his best intentions, and they do need to be careful, HELLRAISERS. These pistols can still deal damage, although they are slowly falling to the incoming T-side attack.
I'm not really the biggest fan of the fact that Neo bought a Scout in that round, so he won't have a solid gun in the next one because of it. I mean, pretty much exactly that. He bought a Scout. Why would you just... It doesn't really make that much sense to me. But he's just going to be lackluster on utility there, and you really want everything on your first gun round. It is going to be HELLRAISERS 3-0 in the lead on their T side. HONORIS, they need to convert this one, otherwise you might be looking into a little bit more trouble right now, because HELLRAISERS are stacking up on their cash flow.
That could be a real thorn in the side of HONORIS if they allow that T-side cash to run away throughout the half. First full gun round coming through now, though. Stomp has the AWP that he'll want to hand, and HELLRAISERS look to play a slightly slower round at the start of this one, but not totally slow, as they do try and push Jalem out early through T-Con. Neo cleans him away pretty convincingly, however, and pushing out through Pop Dog, actually. It's Flarich who drops down the ladder onto Raiko's head, I believe, but just doesn't quite spot him out from the position. He's done well to stay alive there in spite of the spam coming through from the T side, and that keeps the man advantage in HONORIS' favor.
Ray down coming through. Neo spots a player out, but JR gets the headshot on Prism, so that's a nice kill indeed. Raiko, however, still in Pop Dog jiving around, but look at that flank coming out. Taz does spot problem out. And with Stomp inside connector, actually getting mollied away from his angle, it is going to be Taz up in the sky. Will he be able to get anything done? Problem, close range, gets himself a kill, but there's a big flank from Neo out towards the main, and that should give the call for HELLRAISERS to head towards that A site. But this Neo trigger discipline, this is what a decent player would, of course, do. Trigger discipline, it comes with age, it seems, because that was a nice one. Bomb is dropped, and all they have to do is play the bomb right now. Cam Flares get the bomb plant in. Taz is going to walk forward, should get the plant in time, and for him, I hope that he's not going to act... I mean, you can't lose this one. You can't... Oh
Well,
my God!
that's where you're wrong.
Lose that one.
That is where you're wrong. Big clutch there from Flarich, and despite all of the information being in favour of the two Polish veterans, they can't win the 2v1 clutch. The odds from our partners over at LootBet are agreeing with me as this half progresses. I imagine they go further into HELLRAISERS' favour as they continue scoring on this T side. They find 3 more rounds from the half, and I'd say they're in a great spot already.
This is looking way better than their previous performance on the map, but this is, I mean, that is a round you just can't give away. It's another one of those situations which just doesn't make sense. He has 10 seconds left and the bomb plant to go. You just rush him at that point. Just like that, Taz. This time he does go for the rush, and it's all on Reiko. Will not get any more damage dealt, and HELLRAISERS on 5 rounds on their T side. HONORIS, this is looking like it's possibly gonna be a quick map, but oh no, I just jinxed ourselves.
They have the double or bailout. The panic button has been pressed by HONORIS, and they're going to try and use these 2 sniper rifles, just as Na'Vi Jr. did, to shut the HELLRAISERS down on their T side. It was something that the HELLRAISERS had no answer for in their series against Na'Vi Jr. earlier on, and it looks like they have very little answer for it in this round against HONORIS. JR falling early to Stomp Sniper. It's a man advantage for the CT side, and as more utility is deployed by the Ts, what they really need to find is a kill back without it being traded.
Yep, JR falling is a pretty nice one, of course. Kalinka definitely very solid on the op as well, so you do have to still be very careful once he picks the big green stick up. Bomb is heading towards Ivy slowly but surely. And Neo is playing that secondary op, of course, in VP. Definitely seen some massive highlight reels from him. Then again, everyone opted at one point in the squad. You saw Pasha, you saw... Well, Bialy not really, but even Taz at one point. So they are... You know, always secondary oppers available in these Polish squads. It is going to be that Ivy peak. Neo might get double peaked, and that could be problematic. Or they might go for the run boost. Now it's going to be the double peak, and it's going to be Kalinka winning that straight fight. Flash in towards teammate. Does give away Jalen's position because he starts spraying because, well, he was blind and he got scared. And then execute towards the A side. 20 seconds to get the bomb plant in. All they have to do right now is drop the bomb on the CT side. And the... Well, that is... The bomb drop, round's over. And Kalinka gets taken down by Prism as well. 3 kills for him. Picks up the second op as well. And that is going to be the first on the board for HONORIS. HELLRAISERS do have another buy into the next one, but at least they get something working for them.
Well, the big green panic button works out for the CT side, at least in the opening round that they choose to press it. They're going to keep bringing those snipers forward for as long as they can do. So they will be making their presence felt in round number 7. Stomp waiting in connector for his teammates to get the advanced positioning before he then turns around to aggress himself. It's very passive this time for HELLRAISERS, set up pretty much in standard positions, waiting for CT aggression that rarely comes. This is the old chess match style you see played. HELLRAISERS trying to force extra players out towards the bomb sites they're not attacking, but they can't even sneak in through Ivy. Neo's AWP shuts it down. That's nice play from Flaric and his teammate in Pop Dog, however, to get a quick kill back.
A nice trade-off, however, a decent amount of damage dealt to HELLRAISERS players. Neo with the op towards Ivy's going to get flashed off the angle, and it does seem like it's going to be the outer take coming through from HELLRAISERS. But they still have 55 seconds left. They even are rotating JR back from Ivy so they can group up, so there definitely is enough time. They also have enough utility to hit that B site, and okay, they're rotating around. Defensive utility is pretty much gone. They've got one flash and one grenade, but they do still have to deal with Stomp if they're going to hit that B site. And of course, Taz, who always historically has defended that B site. Let's see if he can play that defensive game. It's going to be smokes coming through. He just needs to drop that bomb. Will get triple peaked in the end, and that's going to be Jalem getting the bomb plant in. Prism and Neo have to retake the B site, which is still very doable, but without any utility, it's going to be pretty tough to cross back. Peek in from the op, and JR misses the shot. Already got two to his name in this round, though, but it is definitely a shot you need to land. At this point, HONORIS probably... Oh, wait, what? That could have been absolutely disastrous for HELLRAISERS right there.
Yeah.
They almost lined up perfectly for him, but luckily enough, they will be able to take him down, and that is going to be Neo saving the op. Should be a full save, though, without any problems. And HELLRAISERS on 6. I mean, that's already enough for the T side.
They're in an amazing spot to be in on their T half of train, and a much better spot than they found themselves in earlier. That is for sure, but there's that sinking feeling in the back of my mind that we can talk about after we talk about our case partners over at Hellcase. If you use the promo codes on your screen, MaltaV and MaltaV15, you can save more and grab what you deserve. That nagging feeling in the back of my mind is the decision making. When HELLRAISERS walked out and lined up there, I was just thinking, what on earth is going on? Why? Get yourselves in that position in such a high pressure point in the round. It could have all been tossed away. And choices like that keep being made by this HELLRAISERS squad. That is the worrying factor. They never seem like a lethal force. There always seems to be gaps in the plays that HONORIS might be able to exploit.
Yep, but this time HELLRAISERS will find the gaps in the HONORIS defense. Neo close range, picks up an AK, starts spraying immediately afterwards, but they already got rid of Stomp in the back end, and now it's all on Taz with the CZ in hand. It's a nice, beautiful pink CZ, but it should not get too much done. Bomb plant is coming through, and I mean, the T side for HELLRAISERS compared to what they showed against Na'Vi is completely light and day.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the difference, they're 7-1 up at the moment compared to 7-0 down at the start against Na'Vi Junior. They really struggled on that T side, and this is already much better. It bodes very well, because heading over to their CT side, despite only winning a single round of the T side against Na'Vi Junior, they put something like 7 or 8 consecutively on the board before they ended up losing one on that CT half. If they were to put 7 on the board consecutively at the start of their CT half on this map, they'd be on 14 points and 2 away from winning the series. HONORIS somewhat aware of that. They're going to be calling a timeout on their CT side. They've hit the double AWP panic button again, and they better hope it bails them out of another round.
They definitely do. It's I mean, it's pretty much do or die. You really need to win something, or it's going to be all over in no time for the HONORIS squad. They are 6 rounds down, and that's on their CT side. This is looking problematic, to say the least. They really need to step up their game. They need Stomp to start stepping up as well with that up. But it's going to be the straight out rush towards A site and immediately annihilated. Neo gets himself 2 kills in return. Looking for a third, is burning inside the molly, almost drops dead, but now Stomp, double op from HONORIS to try and defend the A bomb site. Will they be able to get anything done here?
Oh, it's another close shot, but Flaric, when he hits that onto Neo, it makes it basically impossible for Stomp, regardless of the HP of these players. He's found Kalinka, but Jalen will take him down. A decent effort from those Orps to hold on to the A bomb site, but they can't quite cling on against the entire tide of Hellraisers, and it's HONORIS now who are in very big trouble following their great performance on Dust 2.
That's just, I mean, this is, I just did not expect this. It's just a complete turnaround of everything that I saw coming. Okay. Yeah. Where was this Hellraisers pretty much the entire time? Quick aggression coming through. Oh, of course, HONORIS making some mistakes as well. Neo getting himself a kill on JR, and with Kalinka so low in HP. Nice push coming out. Even gets the kill onto Prism, and it's Stomp getting shut down. 9-1 in favor of HONORIS. Annihilation on their side.
9-1 in favor of Hellraisers.
Hellraisers, sorry. It's late.
The Polish Counter-Strike fans definitely had their ears perk up a little bit there. They got a bit excited. Unfortunately, no. HONORIS have yet to score a second round on the CT side. They've got 2 warps out again, though, so maybe they have a chance to do it in this one. But Kalinka, being able to find those kills on just 7 HP has so much impact. Denies any weapons being saved forward by the HONORIS squad. And this is how things are supposed to go for Hellraisers on the map of Train, you feel. Neo, he's opened up with a very quick AWP kill at the start of this round, though, and he looks like he's starting to wake up individually on that weapon. The old veteran, arguably the GOAT Counter-Strike player of all time, doing work with a triple in this one, and that should be enough to secure HONORIS their second.
That is, yeah, that's pretty, seems like a pretty reasonable analysis. Flaric and Problem, the last 2 standing. Of course, Problem has had a 1v5 before today, but that B site with the amount of, actually they have a buttload of utilities still left, so they can definitely get onto the site, but holding onto the site without losing a player, still rather troublesome. Taz on site will be able to spot them peeking forward, does spot Flares, gets the kill, and gets the second as well. That's going to be HONORIS getting their second on the CT side. That, yeah, I mean, that's still just a completely lost side, but yeah, at least it's something.
They need to win every round in the half, it feels like, to have a chance at coming back on the T side of this map. That last round won entirely by the veterans of the squad, Taz and Neo, getting all 5 kills there between them, and HONORIS win a round with all 5 staying alive. That should mean they can bring a full buy into the next one, regardless of whether or not they lose control of this. Hellraisers, they want to change things up a little bit, though, and target this B bomb site slightly earlier. HONORIS, happy to stack 4 players in A for now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's going to be Taz on that B defense so far. How quickly is Hellraisers going to push this? Kalinka towards Ivy, of course, can go for the flank play towards CT. Just jumps right into Prism's crosshairs, and that's an easy kill. Taz is going to get one and done traded on the B side. Bomb should come through, and it's going to be all 3 players from HONORIS from Hellraisers kind of stuck on site. They don't have any smokes left. 3 flashes and 2 mollies to try and keep these HONORIS players at bay, but no one going back to Brown Halls. They just completely boxed in on the side of Hellraisers, and they get shut down. They'll have enough money for another buy coming through, but HONORIS getting a couple of rounds in a row does not bode well for this defense, for this Hellraiser side. You don't want to give them an avenue back in, because it would not surprise me if all of a sudden the HONORIS T side is going to absolutely pop off as well.
We'll have to wait and see. If HONORIS can win the remaining 3 rounds of the half, momentum will definitely be on their side heading into the second half of this map. And if they can get the second pistol off the back of that, well, they might just be on easy streak for the rest of the series. HELLRAISERS still with 3 firm chances to pick up a round at the end of this half and deny a full build-up of momentum to their opponents. They got onto the B-bomb site last time. They just couldn't hold it without utility. And this time they've eaten a lot of utility in towards T-Con. But it's actually Jalem who's found the opening kill onto Ryko. He's actually gotten away from the secondary AWP as well. Gets far forward enough. He might even get a 3rd kill. Flaric finds them both instead. But it's back to winning ways for HELLRAISERS as Prism misses out on JR and lets HELLRAISERS get away with a round very cleanly. Cash still on the board for HONORIS, but that's double digits secured by HELLRAISERS in the first half of Train.
Yeah, Jalem and Flaric 17-6 and 16-4 on those 2 players. Absolutely going insane. I mean, they just literally crawl into the site. No one on the side of HONORIS paying attention to that push. They will go for the double op again on the defense for HONORIS, but that just is... I mean, both of sides of the coin here, both teams have a lot of gaps in their armor right now, and HELLRAISERS finally are able to really benefit off of it. They finally started to read how this HONORIS defense is gonna look, and a nice job at that. It does look like it's going to be a B execute with Kalinka trying to distract them towards the Ivy area. Stomp and Taz again on the site. Molly coming through. Taz taking half damage. Stomp is going to hold that line. Gets a shot through. Kill and a tag. And they have Kalinka still pretty low. A lot of damage dealt to the HELLRAISERS players. Will Stomp be able to get more out of it? Flaric actually gets a head. How did that turn into a headshot? I have no idea. Random stray bullet came through. Flaric gets another one for his trouble. Does have the bomb on site. Is actually going to fall back and get aggressive, try and get the advantage here. If he gets the bomb plant, that will give his information away. Ooh. And he's just tapping away right now, but turns his back right now to HONORIS, and that is going to be the shutdown 4 in favor of HONORIS. HELLRAISERS, they have a little bit of a reasonable buy in the last one, but it is going to be still a massive win for HELLRAISERS on their T side.
One more round remaining in the first half, and HELLRAISERS looking to make it their 11th. HONORIS desperate to make it their 5th, just so they have some kind of buffer to work with on the T side of Train here. HELLRAISERS now, they've had to drop Kalinka down onto the auto shotgun as the cash is not quite available for the full investment. Stomp finding the opening kill onto Problem as well bodes very well for this HONORIS squad. He's going to retreat deeper into the B-bomb site and utilize that AWP at much greater range. The smokes are going down for HR though, and they want the last round of the half to be fought in the B-bomb site.
Yeah, Stomp, he needs to get that quick shot in and fall back the moment Kalinka peaks, but they still have a nice utility left on this HELLRAISERS side for a good execute towards the B side. They're going to throw it all over right now. Stomp, that nade does a lot of damage, gets a kill as well, and that's the last man standing. JR with a Galil in hand, 1v5. Doubtful he'll be able to successfully get this one done, and that should be 5 for HONORIS. Not the half that they were looking for, but at least they managed to recover from a terrible scoreline.
It could have been much worse indeed for the CT side. You're absolutely correct. JR picks up an AK, picks up a kill, but would need 4 more with 30 seconds left on the clock. He's got the bomb at his back, but he also has Neo on the flank as well. Not enough time even to go to way at this point, so he's going to shift his way around to the high ground and get tapped away by Ryko. 10-5, the confirmed scoreline at the end of this first half. HONORIS, they really do need this second pistol round of Train. Otherwise, HELLRAISERS are going to have an incredible round lead to try and carry themselves to the 2-1 victory here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be massively important to win that pistol, because this is looking like it's going to be a quick while I'm saying this series definitely was not quick, but this third map might be just that. If Flerich and Jalem can continue their streak on that they showed on their T side, but HONORIS, they're not out of it yet. Stomp, once he manages to get an op, might get himself aggressive as well. However, it's all going to come down to this pistol round. This is super crucial for HONORIS to try and win out. Let's see if they have any decent strats. Like HELLRAISERS went for the last time for their pistol. They rushed through, connected towards B, and then shut down every possible push from HONORIS. Of course, a very greedy and dangerous play, but it did pay off for them in the end. Whereas on the side of HONORIS, they've got one smoke, 3 flashes, might just be a straight up B push. And HELLRAISERS, they read this push completely. 3 players stacked towards the B side. Flerich spots out 1 player, and they're going to fall back. And this is going to be the execute coming in. Nade not doing as much damage as they'd hoped. Jalem playing close range in upper, and will get shot from behind, but Problem also got himself a second kill. Now it's all on Flerich on the side. Rotations from JR, a little bit slow coming through, but Flerich is still alive on the site, and it's going to be tough to get that bomb plant in if you don't have the complete... Okay, they just had no idea that Flerich was still flanking around. He just gets behind them and starts tapping them away, and that's going to be HELLRAISERS getting the pistol. This is looking like it's over for HONORIS.
It's never over until it's over, DK Truman. What do HONORIS do, though, to try and recover this scoreline? The odds from our partners over at LootBet after that pistol seem to think you're correct. They seem to think that HELLRAISERS have done enough to close the door on this series. With an eco in this round from HONORIS, it's going to make it a 12-5 scoreline, and I think the next gun round is really going to decide this map. If HONORIS don't win the next full gun round, I fail to see how they're going to overcome this HELLRAISERS CT side.
Yeah, with those nades coming through as well. HELLRAISERS defense starting off nicely. It's going to be the Eagle picked up by Stomp and Rico. See if they can get anything done. Neo just walks through the smoke, and they're both going to chime in. It's just waiting for Rico to fall right now so that the buy round coming out. Nice shot, though. Making a little bit expensive for the HELLRAISERS side, but not too problematic. They're just going to try and rush him out, box him in, and finish the job so that they can head over to the full buy round quicker. Close range. Ooh, that could have actually been rather dangerous, but it is still going to be HELLRAISERS surviving with 4 players into the next round. And now HONORIS with the AKs, even an op on Stomp, no armor on him. And let's see what he will be able to do with that big green stick. Let's see if he's going to go for that quick peek, possibly to get a shutdown on JR. Because Scout versus an op that has no armor is still not that bad for a Scout.
Not at all. It's a much more balanced engagement than perhaps it otherwise would be, and Stomp, he's going to be using that AWP in towards T-Con. They want to take Ivy control to the HELLRAISERS at the moment, and they may have just succeeded. Ryko down on 16 HP, but he has found a way out onto the A site. Flerich opens back up onto him actually now, and this is where things get dangerous for HONORIS.
Yeah, they have their backs against the wall. That Molly is at least going to give away that Jalem is nearby. Managed. Oh, still gets shut down by Stomp. While he's going for the jump. Aggressive P coming in from Kalinka is going to get shut down. Flerich up in heaven, drops below, gets even tagged by just fall damage. Is down to 20 HP. Problem on the flank. JR all the way towards Old Bomb, and Taz is holding that connect area. But because of the smoke coming through, he's actually going to jump through. Flerich on site. Back turned against the possible Neo peek, and Neo with the bomb on his back will get the kill. However, he got tagged through. Still decent amount of damage being dealt, but it's all on JR versus Stomp and Taz. Stomp has the op in hand and is just holding the cross right now so that JR gets shut down the moment he peeks, or that was the attempt. Taz is going to get the headshot on JR nonetheless, and that is going to be HONORIS getting themselves their first T-sided round.
And they should probably get through their second here. I can't see much of a reason for HELLRAISERS to buy up. Yes, Jalem wouldn't have the best weaponry in the upcoming round, but the whole team would be in a much better position economically speaking. So they are going to be dropping down onto the pistols here. HONORIS, bringing a 4x forward, should be able to get through this pretty cleanly. They don't want to be losing 4 or more, because that puts their economy in a dire situation heading into the next gun round, in which if HELLRAISERS take control of it, they have control of the economy at potentially the very end of this map now. Getting very dangerous for HONORIS, but if they can build up a T-side streak, they might just prove they can keep fighting in this map.
Yep, and they definitely do exactly that. HELLRAISERS do get a 1-for-1 trade. JR down to 4 HP, but problems playing close angles, and Flareage up on oil. Not saying that it's impossible to defend this, but it is still pretty tough. Those close range deagles need to do a lot of work, and it is going to be the push in upper. Just rushing through. The flash actually gets them blinded, and Problem gets a double. No, don't tell me, HONORIS. What is going on right now? Bomb is dropped on upper as well. And Kalinka gets the kill on Prism all the way towards A. This is just a free op to gift away to the HELLRAISERS squad right now from Stomp. At this point, yeah, this is over.
Wowee. I mean, what even was bought into that last round? That is a nightmare for HONORIS to lose control of. It really is. Now they have to drop down onto an eco on the T side. They couldn't quite recover the AWP from HELLRAISERS. That close range kill from Stomp at least stopped the sniper from being recovered, but it's not been able to stop 13 rounds going the way of HELLRAISERS. Now it looks as though the CIS squad can go 14-6 up at the end of this round, unless another eco team pulls off the miracle.
Well, it would not be the first time that we see that happen. HELLRAISERS, they need to defend this B bomb site, and well, they're playing long range engagements with rifles instead of going for that op. There's going to be the push lower. That nade does a tremendous amount of damage, and they're just getting annihilated by utility. The last man standing, Taz. Tap War will not even find a single kill, and that was an easy shutdown by HELLRAISERS. This game is going by very quick. Never mind. HELLRAISERS calling the time. HELLRAISERS calling the time. Okay. The tactical timeout on the side of HELLRAISERS against this HONORIS force buy. I might just be a bio break or something, but nonetheless, we're going to have ourselves a little pause. Tactics are going to be discussed. Plans are going to be made. Bladders are going to be emptied.
I think HELLRAISERS are just trying to make HONORIS sweat a little bit here under the weight and pressure that this upcoming round applies. Stomp has money for body armor, by the way. So I'm just going to keep an eye on his cash and see whether he buys it or not at the end of this freeze time. Instead, he's going to go for just one smoke. Okay, yeah, more utility should come through. That AWP doesn't have to be glass cannon, though. They'd rather take the risk and have the additional utility on this HONORIS squad. And, I mean, this is the definition of a must-win round. HELLRAISERS take this one. They take the series. And HONORIS, they're already fighting from a crazy deficit, but it was a very similar scoreline to this on Nuke, I believe, in which they were able to perform pretty decently on the second half.
Yeah, it's they gotta go big right here, right now. It's looking like another possible B execute with a lot of utility being thrown towards A to try and bait them out. Problem's getting aggressive. Stomp gets a close range shot while he has no body armor as well, so that is pretty damn impressive, because of course the aim punch sets in, and a good fake out from HONORIS coming through. Control of the site, but the flank is already right behind them towards B, and that is going to be Jalem getting the kill on Neo. They are absolutely unaware of their flanks whatsoever. They have another flanker in Flareage coming through as well, and Rico on 1 HP, Stomp on 4. The bomb has been planted. They have no real way of defending this bomb plant either. Flarich on site will go and stick the defuse. Hope that his teammates can save his life. He's just spinning me right round, baby, right round. And pros do not fake, people. Pros do not fake.
Jeez Louise, what is going on? Watch that round from the perspective 360 degrees of the floor, and Honoris, they just cannot fire onto the diffuser. Taz finds all the kills in the retake, but finds them too late as his team need 9 consecutive rounds here on the T side of Train in order to force out overtime on this third and final map. JR with the opening kill, already starting to deny as Jalem goes aggressive. It looks like it might just be a matter of time. Taz has been cleared away. Neo now is left alone, 1 versus 5, and Problem takes his head. Hellraisers are the side who win this series, and they do it 16-6 on Train.
This was a very dominant performance on Train. Finally, they started started waking up at 2 a.m. Maybe that